So in this video we're going to be talking about the best way to control trailer sway once it starts. You might recognise this model from a previous video where we put different weights at the front and the back and the centre to demonstrate just how important weight distribution is on a trailer as opposed to total mass. So we're going to be talking about trailer sway, and I'm lucky to have here John Eigenhausen, who is the Chief Instructor for Towing at TowEd. And John's done a lot of caravan crash investigations. So John, tell us about the importance of understanding sway when it comes to caravan crashes.
Well, sway on trailers is ultimately the worst thing you're ever going to experience. Unfortunately, some of the investigations that I've done have included the occupants, where the occupants have died as a result of the crash, but purely because the trailer swayed too much and they weren't able to control it.
Okay, so what we are going to demonstrate here could potentially be life-saving if you could just understand what sway is from the previous videos and also how to control it when it happens. So John, what modifications have been made to this model to allow it to have a control which gets rid of sway?
Well, we've basically modified a normal remote control car remote so that the steering activation actually applies the brakes and the brake lights to the trailer. So you can see every time I turn the steering, it applies the brakes, and just to give us a visual indication, it puts the brake lights on as well.
Okay, so if I was to lift that up and then just spin the wheel, don't really spin that much because there's not much on it, then yeah, okay, so I can't spin it anymore. Yep, absolutely, okay.
Yeah, it works really well.
Right, so what we've got there is independent trailer brakes, and what that means is that the driver, who's outside the vehicle, normally would be inside the vehicle, can apply the brakes on the trailer without applying the brakes on the tow car, and that's the secret. Now, why is that important? Well, I'll explain a bit more in the video later on, but in brief, when you get into a sway situation, the trailer is travelling faster than the tow car, and to get out of sway, the trailer needs to be travelling at the same speed as the tow car. So, if something's travelling faster than you want it to do, what do? You apply brakes, you slow it down, and that's how it works. So what we're going to do now, we're going to run the video, run the trailer rather. We're going to induce some sway in the model, and we're going to demonstrate how to get rid of the sway. And what you see in the model does work in real life as well, because I've been in sway situations where I've used that technique. And
I have as well.
Yeah, various different people have, so we know it works in real life as well. Not that we recommend you test it in real life, I really don't recommend that. Models are good. And now? So I'm going to explain why this technique of applying the brakes on the trailer but not the tow car works using this model. So placing it at the start here, this is what a typical sway situation looks like. As the combination moves, the trailer sways quite a lot and the car sways a little bit less, but both of them increase in amplitude, i.e. the sway gets progressively worse and worse as they move along to the end point here. And these two bits of string represent the path of the trailer and the tow car. Now the white string represents the tow car, and that sort of sways a bit but not too much, and again it increases in amplitude. The black represents the trailer, and that increases in amplitude a lot more. They both start and finish at exactly the same point here, but they are different lengths, because if I now put that like that and then pull them straight, you can see that the black string is longer than the white string, and that means that the trailer must have been travelling at a faster speed. It's a bit like walking a dog, and a dog just goes crazy all over the place, and it probably does about 1.5 kilometres to every kilometre you walk, or a small kid or something like that. So that's why it works. You want to get the trailer's speed to the same as the tow car, and how do you do that? You apply the brakes. That's how that works. Now, a lot of you will be watching from Australia, and this hopefully won't be a revelation to you, because you have an electric brake controller. You can apply those brakes independently, and that works. But if you're not in Australia, you may not have the ability to fit a system legally which allows you to apply those brakes independently. You've probably got overrun brakes, and the way that works is that when the tow car slows down, the trailer naturally sort of almost goes, well, does sort of try to go into the back of the tow car, and that activates the brakes and pulls it down. Now that's not ideal at all from a trailer sway perspective, because you want to get the speed of the trailer down to the speed of the tow car, and if the tow car is slowing down as well, it just makes it harder. But really that's all you can work with there. There's no other option you've got. What you then want to do is obviously prevent sway as much as you can, and that comes back to weight distribution. I've got another video on that. There's a bunch of sway devices you can put here. I'm not going to go into those right now, but there is also electronic stability control you can put on the tow car. It's probably built into your modern tow car, and you can retrofit it, if it's not fitted already, onto your trailer, and I've got a specialist video on that. So there's a range of different electronic brake controllers on the market, and I'm going to use this Redarc Tow Pro as an example. So there's two modes. One mode is braking mode, so when you press the tow car's brakes, that will also activate the trailer's brakes as well. Now the degree to which it does that is set by the dial here, so you can switch it all the way from 0 when there's no or virtually very little braking when you press the tow car's brakes on the trailer, all the way up to 10 when you press the brakes on the tow car, and then there's a lot of braking on the trailer, even to the point where the wheels might actually lock up. So that's your first mode. The second mode is the manual override mode, and that's where you don't need to touch the tow car's brakes at all, and you can activate the trailer brakes only, and that's what we did with the model. And to do that, you just press the button down, and then that will activate the trailer brakes independently. Now again, the degree to which it does that is dependent on how the dial is set. So if you set the dial over to 1 or 0, you press the button down, you're not going to get very much braking on the trailer. You switch it over to 10, you're going to get a lot of braking on the trailer when you press that button down. Now, how much, or where should you set that controller to? Well, it depends on what you're doing. If you're manoeuvring a trailer, then you really don't want very much trailer braking at all, because everything's going very, very slowly. So I typically set that to 0. The faster you go, the greater the braking force you want on the trailer, and also weight of the trailer. For a caravan, typically they don't vary in weight that much. I mean, a caravan might weigh 2,500 kilos, and fully loaded maybe 27, 28. So it's not too much a problem for caravans, but for car trailers, you might have a car trailer, for example, mine weighs 1,000 kilograms. I might put a car on it weighing 2,500. So then, because of the extra weight, I've got to change my braking force on the trailer accordingly. And you might change it going uphill, downhill, and certainly off-road as well. Now this particular brake controller has another feature which not all brake controllers have, and that is proportional braking. So what it does, you can set it to a mode where it will detect how quickly the car is deaccelerating and automatically apply the trailer brakes in proportion to how quickly that car is decelerating there. Not all brake controllers have that. I think that's a pretty neat feature. So this is an older type of brake controller, but the same principle. It goes from 1 all the way through to 10, as you can see there. Now if I press it in at 10, you can see that it changes colour there for red, and if I keep pressing it in and turn it, you can see that the colour changes all the way through to green. So the colour gives you an indication as to the braking capacity. So that applies, pressing it in applies to trailer brakes independently. Now if I put my foot on the brakes, then you can also see that I put it around to 10, then that will turn from green to red, and if I turn it round to 1, then it doesn't go red quite as much. You can't really see the difference there. So exactly the same principle. You can apply the brakes independently by pressing it in, and the amount of braking pressure is dictated by that dial, or you can do it with your foot on the brake as well. And one thing I like about this brake controller is this little knurl at the top here, so I can put my finger on it and I can actually tell whereabouts it is without needing to look at it, just by the angle of that and just feeling it with my finger. Now what you do need to do is read your owner's manual for your own brake controller, see what features it's got, and explore them, practice them, because it's going to be too late to start thinking about that when you've got sway on. And once you learn how to use a brake controller effectively, it makes a big difference to the stability and safety of your towing. It's not just a case of, oh yeah, there's this button in here, I don't really know what it does. You've really got to learn how to use it for best effect. John, so that was a pretty impressive demonstration. Clearly, being able to apply independent trailer brakes, different from the tow car, does get rid of sway. What tips have you got for people to fit systems and use them?
Well, the brake controller that is normally fitted into the vehicle, we would recommend that you put that between the driver and the passenger. Right, that way, if because it's a stressful situation when a trailer is swaying, so there's less likelihood for the driver to want to take their hands off the wheel and look for or search for and then apply a trailer brake.
Okay.
So having it in the centre between the driver and the passenger is something that the passenger can actually apply, and the driver can still hang on to the steering wheel. It is an immensely stressful situation. We want to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. And of course, the driver may not necessarily know how to do it. I mean, they should know, but if the passenger does know, they can just sort of stab that button, apply the brakes, and it goes. What about practice?
Oh, it's one of those things that is very important. Whether you've got the trailer on or not, we'd certainly recommend with the trailer, but applying, just practicing applying that brake, you'll get to feel the drag at the trailer. Obviously, the more the more intense you put the brake controller on, the greater the braking effort at the trailer. So you'll feel that. You may lock the wheels up or not. So you'd want to wind that back a bit. So and just feel the trailer dragging. I'd recommend you do it out on a nice quiet street or out in the open road somewhere where there's not a great deal of traffic. You don't want to interfere with too much traffic.
Yeah, so what we're recommending there is not getting into a sway situation. We never recommend that other than using models, but just 50, 60 k's an hour, just come off the throttle, apply the trailer brakes, and the whole rig will start to slow down and just build the speed up. And I do this all at a time at 100 k's an hour, and if I've got anyone new in the car with me and they've got a central mounted brake controller, I just get them to learn how to apply it, because it's just a safety thing. And once you've got the trick, once you're confident with it, you're that much safer on the road, wouldn't you say, John?
Yeah, it's certainly something Julie and I practice a lot, whether she's driving or whether I am. It works in a number of different situations, particularly when you're being overtaken by large vehicles as well, because that's the time when the trailer may destabilise. So just learning to apply the trailer brake in different situations will really pay dividends.
Great. Well, I hope that video was useful. Thank you for watching. Drop any questions in the comments. Thanks, John.
No worries. Thanks, Robert.